Great news. There's a quick way you can save money. Switch to Geico. Geico could help you get great coverage at a great price. And it only takes 15 minutes to see if you could save 15% or more on car insurance. Go to geico.com today and see how much you could save.
I think Junior is right. We need to have a new tagline for the show. Golic and Wingo, the pettiest show in
really
radio.
are.
I mean, we are
just amazing.
Hiya, Junior.
Whenever anybody makes the signal, we are all
We're
over
like shark, blood-infested waters.
It's a little embarrassing for all
really
of us,
is,
especially the two of us who are older and we should know better.
We're older and wiser, and
No.
we should no. I mean, we're like just jumping.
I think we should blame him because he's dragging us down to.
He's easy, especially now since he's not in the room anymore.
Yeah. I guess what we're saying is on this show, nobody's safer.
Safe. You're not safer.
You're not safe.
You're trying to be safer.
Yeah, you get creative.
Doc Clippers.
Oh,
Cliff's
it has been a rockin' 2 first hours.
Cliff's going to get a finger broken.
He might. In fact, what you're saying to him is,
Cliff, for crying out loud!
That's basically what you're doing.
There you go.
We got a lot to get to. First of all, this hour of Golic and Wingo brought to you by La Quinta Inns and Suites. Book at LQ.com and win at business. In about 30 minutes, Stugotz will join us from the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz. Again, fighting for his life at this point on the leadership retreat.
Do you think he's in or out at this point?
I think he's on the bubble. He's like,
really?
You know what he is right now in terms of Joe Lenardi bracketology? He's last in.
So
he could be first out.
If
very
he's
soon.
first out, are you saying Jason Fitz is in? Jason has a chance to be in?
He's too desperate. It'll probably be somebody else.
Wow.
It'll probably be somebody else.
Okay.
Don't you think? I mean, Fitz has just made it. He's like, please acknowledge
Fitz is trying. Listen, I give him credit. He likes us and wants to be there.
Yes. Well,
who doesn't?
I mean, that's a given.
I mean, he has to just up his pettiness.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Actually would be the greatest job of us if we turned down Fitz and bring Spain instead.
Oh, that
would crush his soul.
Well, we'll let you all know again how you can win your trip with us to Pinehurst, golfing Pinehurst #2, and having a great time June 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. We'll let you know how you can win that in a bit.
It will be fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, Larry Hughes, 14-year NBA veteran, who actually played his high school ball when I was in St. Louis there and went on to do great things in the NBA for 14 years.
You were in St. Louis?
Yeah, don't tell anybody.
Okay.
You went to Notre Dame?
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
Right.
So, again, the pettiness factor is high. He'll join us on what it's like to be one of the other Cavs and watching LeBron do his things. He has a very unique perspective on that. We'll get to that. And plus, a little later on,
as they say in hockey, let's do that hockey.
we will have Gerard Gallant, the Vegas Golden Knights head coach.
It's awesome.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It is literally one of the best stories in sports that doesn't get talked about enough, and we're guilty of that as anybody, and we're going to try and fix that by having him on a little later on in the show. All right, but let's get started this hour with what's trending, and what's trending is we have a series, man, in the Western Conference Finals. The Rockets beat the Warriors 95-92 to even the finals at 2 games apiece. And again, a couple of things happened that hadn't happened in a long time, Mike.
Yeah, they really did. I mean, first and foremost, when I watched this game, I couldn't believe the quarters, how they were dominated by one team then the other, one team then the other. And it was actually Houston, after they were down 12-0 in this game. They actually had a halftime lead by 7, but then the Warriors destroyed them, as they usually do in the third quarter, to be up 34-17 in that quarter, take a 10-point lead into the fourth quarter. Golden State had been 39 of 40 wins with at least a 10-point lead going into the fourth quarter. Their only loss, opening night, I should say, this year, the Rockets were down 13 to start the fourth quarter and came back and beat them. So they've done it before. They did it again. The amazing thing to me here is Golden State just 12 points in the fourth quarter. Kevin Durant did not attempt a shot in the last 3 minutes and 47 seconds of the fourth quarter. Passed up that last shot attempt with 12 seconds to go to give it to Klay Thompson, who really just got boxed in, didn't get a great look at a shot there. And Houston, credit, the majority of the game was played by 6 players.
Unbelievable.
An incredible tip of the cap to their tenacity on defense.
Yeah, look, again, this was the first ever win by the Rockets in a playoff game at Golden State. They had been 0-7 in franchise history. And the Warriors had won 16 straight home playoff games, the longest playoff stretch, or the longest stretch in NBA history. They had never lost a home playoff game with Durant and Curry in the lineup. So now it just seems like everything is changed, except Mike D'Antoni is not buying the fact that, hey, suddenly they have the secret sauce.
All we did, too, is just get back to even. It's not like, we're all excited. So we're even with them, but at least we're even with them. We didn't go down 3-1. So it was a must game, but we got a lot of work to be done.
Yeah, listen, he makes sense, and he's absolutely right. So I know you brought it up before. What does this do? Does it give Houston more confidence?
Yes.
Or does it put more doubt in Golden State? I think it absolutely is the confidence on Houston's side. I don't think Golden State has any doubt.
Yeah,
I just think that they feel if they play their game, which and a lot of their game not being played, you give credit to Houston for playing that defense. And they admitted their head coach that they got worn out, that they ran out of gas. They had 3-4 players set a record for amount of minutes played in a postseason game. But I'll continue to say Houston did it with basically 6 guys. So if anybody can complain about getting tired, it's them.
Right.
And they didn't. They were able to hold it together to have an incredible fourth quarter.
So I actually put it out there on Twitter. I said, Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals gives what more? And it was Rockets belief, Warriors doubt, or the third option was please.
Yeah.
Because people are like, it's just one game, please. 54% say Rockets belief. Only 11% said Warriors doubt.
Yeah.
35%
please.
It means something. I don't know what it means, but the fact that they were able to punch him in the mouth on their place meant something for sure. Meanwhile, will Cleveland punch the young Boston Celtics in the face tonight? That Game 5 tied at 2 on 8 is on ESPN Radio and ESPN at 8:30. It is Game 5. The series is back in Boston, where the Celtics, Mike, have not lost this postseason, 9-0.
So, again, we see how the game starts out and how LeBron plays it early on. That's what we always look for. We know he loves to get the others involved, but does he also attack early on and try and set the tone of what he's going to do early on? Remember, in the last game, 26 of his 44 were in the paint. He got matched up on Terry Rozier too many times for the liking of the Celtics and just took him to town, matched up on Horford where he just went by Horford and was driving to the paint time and time again. Which other Cavalier gets the shots? Last game it was J.R. Smith that hit 50% of his threes. Korver had a nice game. Who does it for them? Love did not have a very good game. You need Tristan Thompson on the boards as well as Love. And how does Boston handle this?
Right.
How does Boston handle where they are right now, evened back up after up 2-0 with a young team? They are at home. That certainly is going to help them, but they still have to answer the bell in a very pressure-packed situation.
Well, that's the thing, right? This is the most pucker game yet for these young Boston Celtics.
It ain't a pucker for LeBron.
No.
That's for sure.
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
I mean, and listen, we say they're young. Again, they're younger. They're younger than the Sixers. That's, right. I mean, we say, Simmons, Embiid, all that kind of stuff. This team is actually younger than that team. Now, they have Al Horford, who I think can be a really steadying influence for them.
Has been,
and has been a great job. But if this is the game where, if there's any doubt about how good they really are, it would show up in this game. So what do you think happens tonight?
I picked Cleveland in 6, so that would mean they would win tonight and then close it out at home. But wouldn't shock me if it goes 7. But that's, I mean, you have to give the Celtics their due for what they've done at home this postseason. Again, this postseason. Right. I'm talking about history.
No,
I'm talking about this postseason with this team. So these guys have done it at home. Yeah. But this is the most pressure-packed game against the best player in the game.
Because they know if they drop this one tonight, they're going back to Cleveland.
And could get closed out.
Could get closed out. And LeBron, like you said, he ain't sweating this.
Nope.
He's been down this road before. He's not worried about it. And again, it's on 8:30 Eastern on ESPN and ESPN Radio. And again, the Celtics have never lost a series when they were up 2-0. 37-0 in franchise history. Hit the ramp. And then just devastating news for the LA Chargers. And this seems to happen to at least one team every year, that somebody goes down without contact in a drill and their season is over. And for the Chargers, it's their outstanding tight end, Hunter Henry, who they believe tore an ACL during the first day of OTAs in his right knee. Now, he's getting a second opinion today. But it sure looks like his season is over before it even got started, Mike.
Yeah, a guy who 2 years ago, 36 catches, 45 last year, obviously getting more targets to the point where Antonio Gates wasn't re-signed this year. Now it looks like he may be, as they've been in contact with him. According to our Matthew Berry, the preseason fantasy football rankings, he's behind only Gronkowski, Travis Kelce, and Zach Ertz.
Right.
So he's a real up-and-coming guy, young player, good player, that now got derailed right now. And listen, this is the tough part of professional sports.
Yes.
Now you know what happens? He goes into rehab and he gets forgotten about.
Correct.
It's not a pretty thing. Nobody enjoys it, but you get ghosted. Yeah. That's what happens now. He ends up rehabbing on his own. He can't help the team this year. So it's like you move on. And the one, if you can look at any part of a glass half full, if it was going to happen now. fill the spot,
right.
Whether it's at Antonio Gates or they go a different route, someone who can get into that offense,
familiarity.
And it doesn't happen in the beginning or middle of the season where you're like, oh man, one of our top guys, boy, we got to fill that somehow, some way. They have time to fill it. That's the reality of the business, because you know what? There's going to be practice today, and then tomorrow, and then there's going to be camp coming up. Time doesn't stop. So he goes about his rehab, and the team has to go about filling that spot. That's just the reality of the sport.
It's certainly the reality of football more than any other sport, because
really
the injuries are so dominant. But as a guy who's played, how much of that is, A, I have to focus on what I'm doing because there's nothing I can do about that and he's not here, or B, hey, man, I don't want to be injured. I don't want to think about injured players. I don't want them anywhere near me because I don't want to be thinking, hey, if it could happen to him, it could happen to me.
You mean about Hunter being around?
Yeah. Or no, just the mentality
of the other players?
Other players.
Other players is I take care of myself.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to worry about myself right now. That's just like, in all honesty, not to side note this, but with Tom Brady and Gronk not being there, everybody talking about, oh, the practices may not be as good, and what are the players thinking? You know what the players are thinking in New England? I'm taking care of myself.
Right.
I have a responsibility. I can't worry that Tom is not here or Gronk is not here. I have my own job to do and myself to worry about here, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. That's what these players are going to do. A lot of this stuff, gang, is self-preservation. It's the way it is.
Yeah. So, again, we'll see what happens there. A tough loss for the Chargers and Hunter Henry. He's getting a second opinion.
Yeah.
But it does look like his season is over. All right, Golic and Wingo with you on ESPN Radio and ESPN News. Stugotz on the way from Miami in 15 minutes. But right now in Atlanta, the NFL owners are meeting. And the big changes that came through during the meetings yesterday, the kickoff rules were enacted for a year. The new rules where it's basically going to be more like punts than it will be kickoff returns with a massive collisions. There's no more wedge blocking in any way, shape, or form. And then, of course, they're going to look at every flagrant to find out on video replay whether or not it was ejection worthy.
Right. And very quickly, they looked at 40,000 plays last year and found 3 would have been ejected, and they were the hits you would think of from either linebackers or DBs. And as far as the kickoff rule, just think now more punt, where guys are running side by side with one another down the field and not having those monster collisions. That's what they're looking to get now on the kickoff.
And now, Mike, they get into what really, quite frankly, is a no-win situation for them, no matter what they decide to do.
Yep.
It's questions about what are they going to do with a national anthem policy. Again, it's not a rule.
No, it is not.
It's a game management policy, and it's stated right now that players should stand for the national anthem.
It's in the game operations manual that way. It's not a rule by any stretch of the imagination, like it's a rule in the NBA.
Right. So here's what's on the table as for discussions. The possibilities, according to our Kevin Seifert and Dan Graziano, allow each team to implement its own policy, clear the field of all personnel while the anthem is played, which is what was done previous to 2009.
Listen, that's the only thing I knew. As Trey just said, before 2009, which were all my years, we were in the locker room. We came out and started playing the game.
And that's how they do it in college, a lot of college situations now as well. Or instruct players who don't want to stand to remain in the locker room while the anthem is being played. And then we get into some really weird options. Impose penalties on teams and players who do not stand, including a 15-yard penalty in the game and or fines, add contract language that requires players to stand, or leave the current policy in place.
Well, again, it's a no-win situation, because any move they make last year,
going to anger somebody.
It's exactly right. So you just decide what's best for our business, and that's what you're going to do, because you look what happened last year. It obviously, so many people got ticked off at the players for doing it, and the league, tried to do some things, and teams, let's all kneel down before the anthem starts, and we're all standing for the anthem, something, as the Cowboy said, and Jerry Jones is adamant about, none of our guys have ever knelt for the anthem, and he basically said that's not going to happen. But at this point, what the league did is they actually tried to work things out with players to the players coalition, which they even had some division in amongst the players, but there was monetary value and things that the league and the players agreed upon that were going to happen in some of the cities. So they worked toward that without really changing anything on the field. They didn't say, hey, we'll give you money and assistance in your cities, don't kneel anymore. It was like, okay, we're kind of working together on this. So you just finished that last year of working together on that, to the point where by the end of the year, there were much fewer people that were kneeling than the beginning of the year. And you worked kind of toward that ending. And now you want to go on some of these are to penalize, and I'm sure there are some people out there that would applaud that.
Let's do that.
You don't kneel for the anthem, get penalized, or get the hell out the field. And again, that's fine if you want to have that opinion. That's absolutely fine. But my point from the industry to the players who are partners in this, remember, they're almost splitting the revenue equal in this thing, so they need each other, is you worked towards something without implementing any rules about it. You tried to work to some common ground, and they seem to have gotten somewhere. It's, again, debatable on how far anybody thinks they really got, but they got somewhere as opposed to where they were before that.
Yeah.
So now to sit there and say a 15-yard penalty, and I don't think they're going to make a rule at all that says you have to stand for this. I would see one of two things. They're either going to say, each team, you guys decide, or let's just stay in the locker room.
Right.
Let's just go back and stay in the locker room.
That's the way it was up until 2009. Now, some players could come out and stand if they wanted to, but the policy was just stay in the locker room until the anthem is over and come out and play. So there's no way for the NFL to win here. That's it. Whatever they do, they're going to upset somebody. And that's the biggest issue, our Dan Graziano says, is right now they're trying to get consensus, and consensus is nowhere in sight.
I don't think they're remotely united. I was told by a couple of people this didn't even come up on their conference call they had last week to preview the agenda for this meeting. But the expectation is that it will be addressed. This runs the gamut. There are some owners that favor the idea of penalizing players and teams who engage in protests during the national anthem. And there are owners on the other side who think that's nuts and that they should just leave it alone, leave it up to individual teams, individual players. But the overwhelming sense is that this is going to come up again. Something will happen in the world to bring this back to the forefront, and that they're going to have a better plan for dealing with it than they did last year. What that plan is and whether it's something that can be resolved at these meetings still remains to be seen.
So there's a couple of things to get into there. Number one, when he says something else is going to happen in this world, again, a lot of this was brought on by a lot of the African-American players, the black players that felt that there were social injustices being levied against them by positions of authority,
right?
In police, with police. Everywhere.
Quite honestly, I think we're going to see a video coming out of Milwaukee that involves an NBA player that's going to shock a lot of people.
That will validate a lot of their feelings. And the mayor of Milwaukee has already said, "I'm prepared for this, and I will deal with this." And when that video becomes released later on today, I'm sure we'll have that discussion tomorrow. So that's what this is all about. But then the other part. Look, this is just my feeling on this. I think it's ridiculous and insane to talk about penalizing something in a game for something that happened in a pregame situation that had nothing to do with the sport. And I know in the NBA, it's a technical foul if you dunk, but that's a basketball act.
Right.
That is a basketball act that you are willingly doing that now can affect how the basketball game is played. The idea of kneeling, which is not a football act, in any way, shape, or form, there's no way, in my opinion, that should be a penalty in a game that is about to be played.
And listen, the NFL last year, they could have done something right away when they saw this, but they chose to say, okay, the players have the right to do this.
Yes.
Let's talk about it. It would be ridiculous now to say, okay, we did all that to try and build some goodwill, and now we're going to penalize you for it.
Yeah.
It would be ridiculous to do, even though they are in a no-win situation. I'll say again what I said last year about this. I would never kneel for the national anthem. I wouldn't even think about kneeling, but I would listen to my teammate and support him about why he was kneeling and talk to him about it.
Right.
So, but I certainly wouldn't. But, again, you have the discussion and you listen to both sides of an equation. I don't know where they're going to go here, Trey. I don't know where they're going to go here because there are some owners. That's exactly right. There are some owners that no way, shape, or form want their players kneeling, and others are going to be like, really, maybe, dare you say, afraid to not have them have their right to do that of what may happen, because the bottom line is a bottom line game.
Correct.
I don't care what anybody wants to say.
They have the right to run their business as long as it's legal the way they do.
Going to think about what's best for our business that keeps the money stream going.
Yep.
That's what's going to be in their mind. What's the best solution for this? And I don't know what the best solution. Would I love everybody to be standing for the national anthem? Hell yeah, I would love everybody to be. And if everybody has to be in the locker room for the national anthem, okay, that's fine as well. It will be interesting what players think about that. If there are some players that are going to say, wait a minute, you're putting me back in the locker room, you're muting me to do a protest if I want to do it. I don't know. I don't know where it will go from here, because what I need to know more of is how far did that coalition and owners get to satisfy some of the players in what they got out of that? Some were satisfied, some weren't, broke away from that coalition. So it still seems like there is, even on the player side, we know on the owner side, that there is just not the cohesiveness among all of them to agree on it.
Yeah, and look, I've said it before, I said it on NFL Live, and I'll say it again. The idea of kneeling came from a former Green Beret who spoke with Colin Kaepernick that said the idea of kneeling is a symbolic show of respect. Now, people don't want to hear that. Again,
because Colin was sitting at first, and he asked Colin to not sit. He said, that's disrespectful. You can kneel. Kneeling.
Again, people email me, that's not true. It is true.
It's absolutely
100%
true.
true.
The Green Beret who asked him to do that.
From the state of Texas, by the way. Yeah. So you can dismiss that all you want. That's a fact. Yeah. It actually happened, and we'll see how they try and figure out what to do with this, or if they don't do anything at all going forward. All right, coming up, we've said all along our show is petty, and it's about to get a lot pettier. Oh, boy. Because the king of petty is going to join us. And apparently he's jealous, not of our trip, but of something else we've done today.
Hey, everyone, Mike Golic here. Support for the Golic Wingo podcast comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Chances are you're confident when it comes to your work, your hobbies, your life. Rocket Mortgage gives you that same level of confidence when it comes to buying a home or refinancing your existing home loan. With Rocket Mortgage, you can apply simply and understand fully so you can mortgage confidently. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/Mikes. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, NMLS-consumeraccess.org number 3030.
Washing my nose, oh yeah. I'm a shower curtain, and I do one thing. Keep water from leaking everywhere. So you see why I feel useless compared to Geico, who does so much more. Like, not only could Geico save you money, but they've been around for over 75 years. And they give you 24/7 access online, over the phone, or on the Geico app. And they've got a 97% customer satisfaction rating. They do all this while I have to listen to this chucklehead. Oh, good, he stopped.
Washing my toes.
Oh, great, an encore.
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
Right now, it is our pleasure. I'm serious. It is literally our pleasure.
Well, yours.
Well, okay. It is my pleasure to bring into the show Stugotz from the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz, who follows us on ESPN Radio and ESPN News right after we're done. Stu, first of all, let me begin by saying I was so jealous of something you guys did on your show yesterday, and I was ticked off that I didn't think about it or we didn't think about it. Do you want to know what that was?
Okay. Yes, I would love to know what that was.
The links. The links.
Ah, yes.
So for those that didn't see it or hear it, there is this video on Twitter of these two male lynx cats just standing right next to each other, whining at each other, making the most. It's like that sound from Dumb and Dumber. You want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Yeah.
It's what they did for like 3 minutes, staring at each other face to face and just making this ridiculous sound. And somehow you guys incorporated that into every sports debate possible, whether it was Tebow or this and all that, and you just got through it all and you used it as subtext. It was freaking hilarious.
Well, thank you, Trey. It was like, Dan had us all talking over each other because that's what this, whole LeBron-Michael conversation sounds like. It's what the Golden State Warriors-Bulls conversation sounds like. It's everyone trying to get their point in, and so we just decided, let's try to get all our points in at one time so no one can hear exactly what it is that we're saying. And so we just had a lot of fun with that. It was good stuff. I'm glad you enjoyed that, Trey.
I was angry.
I'm thrilled you enjoyed that.
I was so angry that I didn't think about that, but it makes me feel better now because apparently you're jealous of something we do on our show.
Yeah, by the way, Trey, you ever hear the sound of when Mark Sanchez, after the butt fumble game where he's walking off the field, at the Jets home field, and all the fans are booing, they want Tebow, save me, Tebow. Dan maintains that link sounds like Jet fans when Sanchez is coming off the field and they're begging for Tebow. Do you remember that game?
That's good. That's good.
So, yes, it was good.
So you're jealous of that?
Good. I am jealous because Cliff has stolen yet another idea. I think it's Cliff. I'm not certain. It might be Mike Golic Jr. I mean, Golic Jr. saying he stumbled upon this new segment you guys did, Book It, and Cliff saying it's his idea. I don't know. Who is taking credit for this idea? Because I'll tell you, the idea is mine, and someone stole it from me in this radio show. Who's taking credit for this idea?
Oh, this is all my son, and we're, we don't care where it came from. We stole it from him, and quite honestly, we don't care where he got it. Whether he made it up or took it from someone else, we don't care because we're now using it on our show, and that's all we care about.
Okay, and listen, there are a few people who I have given permission to steal any ideas that I have, because sometimes I just throw them out there, and Mike Golic Jr. has been down here with me, and we did a weekend show, and maybe I mentioned it to him on the phone one time when we were talking, but there are very few people who have my permission to steal whatever ideas I come up with, and Mike Golic Jr. happens to be one of those people. So, therefore, I am okay with this segment. Book it.
Listen, real quickly, Senior, take the rest of the segment. I'm not listening anymore. Amelia Clark is on Good Morning America.
Ah, there you go.
Daenerys Stormborn. So there you go.
God.
Thrones, Game of Thrones.
Are you ever really listening to Golic anyway, Trey? You ever really listening?
That's a fair point.
Believe me, I have found that out. All right, from the sports side of everything, how much did last night shock you with the Houston Rockets?
I mean, how can we not be shocked? First off, guys, we waited all year for the series. So what do we have? We have a big, major, important Game 5 on Houston's home court, which is going to be really exciting for NBA fans because, let's be honest, the playoffs have been a bit of a bore. We've had individual performances like LeBron James that have been incredible, this great run by the Celtics, but the games themselves haven't been very good. Last night we got a good one. Hopefully in Game 5 we'll get another good one. Hopefully tonight, with a lot at stake, we'll have a great game in the Eastern Conference Finals. But how can you not be surprised? It's amazing, right? To have a team with this much offensive power, the Golden State Warriors, to go through droughts like the one they went through last night after that third quarter is amazing. I mean, this is a team they haven't lost in forever on their home court in the playoffs. Rockets have never beaten them there. A tremendous job, I thought, by James Harden early on to keep that Rocket team in the game because it looked like Golden State right out of the gates was going to blow them out. And James Harden, being the superstar that he is, that's what an MVP does. He kept them in that game until guys like Chris Paul got comfortable in that game, and then Chris Paul had a big game the rest of the way. But, yeah, how can you not be shocked? And, guys, I guess Steph Curry, he was healthy in the third quarter and then injured in the fourth quarter, right? That's the only excuse we can have.
Exactly. Clearly, he got hurt in between and then couldn't make it through. So it looks like we have a series there. Will the Eastern Conference Series essentially come to an end tonight? Is LeBron and the Cleveland Cavs, are they going to do what no one's done this postseason, in your opinion, take down Boston in Boston?
I think that they will. I think LeBron and the Cavs are going to win that series. I'm interested because during the Book It segment, I think Golic was asked this question. Mike, you were all over the place with this series. I mean, you had the Cavaliers. You believed in LeBron before the series. Then you kind of flip-flop back and forth. I'm okay with it. You should change your prediction every day because at the end of the day, you just want to be right. And I've been telling you forever, no one's keeping track of any of this stuff. I promise you. No one at home is keeping tabs on what we are saying, okay? So, but Mike, you're all over the place. You either believe in this team or you don't. Like, what's the deal, man?
Come on. Stugotz, I think you would have figured out with me at this point. I did that purely for the
mental ninja.
I was playing mind games. I was playing mind games like I had given up on Cleveland when really I hadn't. It was all a mind throw. It was all a Yoda trick. That's what it was.
Right, because that's what LeBron needs at this point. He's saying, hey, there's Mike Golic over there, man. He's a Cleveland fan, and he's doubting me. I'm going to show him wrong. I'm going to prove him wrong.
Boom.
Yeah, it's not official until you say book it, though.
Book it. Book it.
Well, then Golic should get a ring. I mean, that's the case, Golic. You deserve a ring if the Cavs win a championship here. You are the reason that they are on this run. Good job by you.
So does he get the ring that you don't give to Kevin Durant?
Yes, you can have Kevin Durant's ring. That's yours, Mike. Enjoy it, okay?
Just want to make sure. Now, listen, we have to talk about the leadership conference because we're having an issue. Jason Fitz is making a strong push for your spot. I want to let you know that. I want to be honest with you.
Okay.
So we're a little concerned.
Is there not room for both me and Jason Fitz, or it could be one or the other? Is that the deal?
I don't know. We're trying to figure it out.
I think it's going to be one or the other. I mean, so we're not sure. He's really making a hard push for this thing, but I mean, Stu, I really think you should be there.
I would like to be there. I mean, it's my idea. It was our idea that you guys, again, I have a million ideas. I don't do anything with them. You guys actually did something with one of my ideas here, and I'm proud of you, and I'm thankful that you did it, and I'm looking forward to the weekend. But how did Fitz, Fitz is poking his beak in everything now. Yeah. How did Fitz get himself involved? This promotion is official. Rules have been sent out. My name is attached to it. We're going to play golf, man, at Pinehurst number 2. How is Fitz sticking his beak into this?
He's put in a lot of videos. Maybe we just have you send in a video request. Maybe that's all it takes.
Okay, so you want me I'm part of the promotion now. I have to send in a video request just to be a part of my own promotion.
Well, Stu,
you can book it.
Stu, let me just to be factual, Stu. This is the official name of this trip. the Golic and Wingo offsite all-hands town hall leadership retreat strategy session golf tournament. I don't hear a Stugotz in there anywhere.
It's a problem.
That's a very fair point. So now I should be concerned. So I have to step up my game. What you're saying is Fitz wants this more than I do, and now I need to step up my game to show you guys how badly I want this. Is that the deal?
The stink of desperation coming off Fitz is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So, yeah.
I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Listen, I like Fitz a lot. I never met him, but he reaches out to me all the time. He seems like a super nice guy. I know he enjoys our show. Yeah. But because here's what I'm upset about, okay? I am a member of the Golic family, and it seems like, Mike, really what's happening here, it's not about the promotion. You are wavering as to whether or not you want Fitz to be the unofficial Golic son or Stugotz to be the unofficial Golic son. And you, Mike, have to make up your mind. That's the deal. I got to be honest with you.
Well, it's all about the gifts you guys put in front of me.
We'll see how the video works. Just so you know, he's trying to stab you in the back so hard. All right, Stugotz.
Mike, I mean, here's the gift for you, Mike. Massage my glutes. That's the gift I'm offering you.
There it is.
Pay off your debt, my friend.
Book it.
I want that. Hey, Trey, first hole, first tee box, Pinehurst number 2. I want Golic massaging my glutes. Do you think we can get that done?
Book it.
Yes.
Cliff, what are you doing?
Can book it.
There you go. You see, you've rattled Cliff forever. All right, we got to go. Clock integrity. I'm being yelled. Clock integrity. We got to go.
I'm rattled.
We'll see the Dan Le Batard show with Stugotz right after we up on ESPN News and on ESPN Radio.
We break the clock all the time.
Clock integrity.
I'm so rattled because I do have to massage his glutes still.
Book it. Coming up, should a coach who's never finished better than third in his own division be given a lifetime contract? Really? We'll talk about that after this.
Delta strives to take the stress out of travel so you can focus on what comes next. And Delta Comfort Plus can help. With Sky Priority boarding, extra legroom, and a wide selection of unlimited complimentary snacks, you can arrive refreshed, ready to take on the world.
This next story is kind of interesting, Mike, because it's been talked about for a while. And there was a story in May that came out in the USA Today that the Michigan athletic director, Ward Manuel, says he's in the process of finalizing a new contract for men's basketball coach John Beilein. But then he went on to say he'd like to work out a deal for both John Beilein, the basketball coach, and Jim Harbaugh, the football coach, something in terms of lifetime
deals. Yeah.
Lifetime deals.
Well, listen, I brought this up last year with Jim Harbaugh, who, oddly enough, we came into the league, NFL, same year, 1985. I brought this up last year and just got summarily pummeled Twitter-wise by the Michigan fans when I was asking Michigan fans. People thought I was calling for Jim Harbaugh's head. I'm not. And I'll ask you the same thing now. Would you give Michigan fans, would you want Jim Harbaugh to have a lifetime contract? This is a guy who has not beaten Ohio State yet. Has beaten Michigan State 1 time out of 3.
1-6.
Has never been better than third in the Big Ten. Has not been to the college football playoffs yet. Now, I know he makes headlines and that program where it was and where it is now, a couple of 10-win season. I get it. I'm a fan of the guy. But you want to give a lifetime I asked last year, forget the lifetime contract. I said, how long does the patience last if you're 0-4 against Ohio State, 0-5 against Ohio State? And listen, I know Ohio State's a great team and they have a great coach. But you know what? It doesn't matter in the Big Ten. Your job, if you're at Ohio State, is to beat Michigan. And your job at Michigan is to beat Ohio State and then to win the conference and then to now, because there's a playoff, get into the playoff.
By the way, I misspoke. He was 1-5 against Michigan State, not
1-5 against both those. Yeah. So, I mean, I now a lifetime contract? There's one person I'd give a lifetime contract to.
Nick Saban.
It'd be Nick Saban. Yeah. Other than that, man, I mean, anything goes wrong. I mean, you're stuck with that. I'm sure there'd be outs and things like that. I don't know why any school would put themselves in that position.
I agree, and this is not bashing Jim Harbaugh. We
need
to be clear about this. What we're saying is
anybody for that.
What in his body of work, which has been good, but what in his body of work where he has never finished better than third in his own division in the Big Ten, what in his body of work makes you think this is as good as we want to be?
You can't tell me, Michigan fans, that at some point where you say, okay, Jim Harbaugh, a Michigan man, is back coaching Michigan.
Yeah, that's good. They like that.
And he's turned around. He's made them somewhat relevant again. Absolutely has. But at some point, record has to matter.
Correct.
Who you're beating has to matter. And that's all I'm asking of you Michigan people. When does that start to matter to you against Ohio State, against Michigan State for Big Ten titles and for college football playoffs? When does that matter to you to where you start to say, yeah, all that other stuff is great, But it's not happening on the field, so How long do we wait?
Lifetime contract. Now, we have Paul Feinbaum's producer, Big Ten John, with us here for the week, and this has been a topic of conversation with Paul a lot, and you think the Harbaugh hype's a little overrated, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and the deal with the lifetime contract, from the day he had his introductory press conference, Michigan fans were worried about him going back to the NFL. Right. The athletic director is still concerned with that as well. I mean, at some point, though, you've got to beat Ohio State, and if you don't, does he bail and say, I'm done, I can't do this, I'm going back to the NFL? Or does the school fire him? Which happens first?
Well, that's a great question. But, I mean, here's the thing that you just need to understand in terms of perspective and how he's a Michigan man who's had a success at the NFL may color the entire argument, okay? Only one other coach has started his Wolverine career losing his first 3 meetings with Ohio State. That was Rich Rodriguez. He lost to Ohio State in 2008, 2009, and 2010. You know what didn't happen in 2011? He didn't get a chance to lose to Ohio State again because he was fired. So you're telling me that this is a fireable offense for Rich Rodriguez, but it's worthy of a lifetime contract for Jim Harbaugh?
I get a way longer leash for Jim Harbaugh, Michigan man. He has turned the program to a couple of 10-win seasons. I get all that. But life contract, and that's just not Jim. That's anybody outside of a guy like Nick Saban. Yeah. Maybe you think about Urban Meyer, but really, lifetime contracts, I think, would do nothing but get you into trouble.
It just makes no sense whatsoever. All right, coming up, why is one of LeBron's former teammates with the Cavs rooting for the Celtics? Oh, that's a tease, Dan Stanzik. We'll ask him next when he joins us. Stay with us on the Pettiest Show. That'll be coming back.
Says his own name.
Washing my nose, oh yeah. I'm a shower curtain, and I do one thing. Keep water from leaking everywhere. So you see why I feel useless compared to Geico, who does so much more. Like, not only could Geico save you money, but they've been around for over 75 years. And they give you 24/7 access online, over the phone, or on the Geico app. And they've got a 97% customer satisfaction rating. They do all this while I have to listen to this chucklehead. Oh, good, he stopped.
Washing my toes!
Oh, great, an encore.
Geico. Expect great savings in a whole...
Great news. There's a quick way you can save money. Switch to Geico. Geico could help you get great coverage at a great price. And it only takes 15 minutes to see if you could save 15% or more on car insurance. Go to geico.com today and see how much you could save.
Huge game in the NBA last night. Big game coming up tonight. Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN News. Presented by Progressive Insurance. All phone guests join us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Mike Golic, Trey Wingo here. We got a lot to get to coming up. We'll have a breakdown of what's going on with the Eastern Conference Game 5 finals between the Cavs and the Celtics. We'll delve a little bit more into the West and what happened last night.
Yeah.
Plus, we'll talk to Gerard Gallant, the head coach of the Las Vegas Golden Knights, about the amazing run they've had.
Incredible run, and they sit and wait and see who wins tonight in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay or Washington that will face them for the Stanley Cup in Game 7 in hockey play. I mean, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I cannot wait for that. It's going to be fantastic.
And we've discovered a new thing about us today, which I think I can't believe it took us almost 6 months.
Which is?
We are the pettiest show
yes, we are.
In the world.
You even go to break saying your own name.
Yeah, let's hit that now.
Oh, we don't have it?
We don't have it yet?
Oh, okay. Well,
we have it?
Right.
Oh, give us a second, Stanzik says.
You had a whole break.
Hashtag producing.
Seriously.
Hashtag
what was that all about?
So apparently not only we're petty, we're not prepared.
Yeah.
We're the most petty and unprepared show there is.
Yeah.
Stay Wingo. Yeah. I was trying to say stay with us.
And you said stay Wingo.
Wingo.
Yeah. You said stay Wingo.
We have a longer one as well. Let's hear that one.
It's Golic and Wingo.
Why is one of LeBron's former teammates with the Cavs rooting for the Celtics? We'll ask him next when he joins us. Stay Wingo. Stay with us. That'll be coming back.
Do you want everybody to stay Wingo?
No, I don't want anybody to do that.
Yes, you do.
No.
You're so petty.
I would not wish
so shallow.
I would not wish that on my worst
inch
enemy.
Deep and a mile
Let's
wide.
just say I think a lot of people would be safer if they didn't do that.
Well, see,
there you go.
You did something wrong, and you immediately throw it back on me.
We are the pettiest show in radio. That's the way it goes. Stugotz is a regular. What more do you need to say?
That's
Here we go.
true.
What's trending? Tiger Woods' great caddy, Joe LaCava, who I believe is a Connecticut native, if I'm not certain.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure Joe is from Connecticut. I see him out here at a couple of tournaments every now and then.
He's getting a break for a good reason.
For a very good reason. Now, he's the caddy for Tiger Woods whenever he plays.
Mm-hmm.
He's holding the bag for him. Yep. But next year at Tiger's event, the Hero World Challenge in the Bahamas, for a practice round, Joe will not be carrying the bag.
No, he will not. At the 20th Tiger Jam, annual charity event to benefit the Tiger Woods Foundation, a donor offered $50,000 to caddy for Woods during Wednesday's round at the Hero. 50 grand.
Grand.
You're going to give somebody $50,000 and then carry his golf clubs.
Yeah.
Or is this one maybe they'll let him ride around in a golf cart? I have no idea.
There's walking.
There's all walking here?
Yeah.
Man, I'm going to, for 50 grand, I got to have a rider list. You know what I mean? I don't mean rider R-I, I mean rider R-Y. I need some things that come along with my 50 grand. And one is going to be a cart because I ain't lugging that thing around for 18 holes. The one thing I ask, though, that should come with this, Tiger should have to play with whatever club this person selects. Right?
On the tee box, here's a 7 iron.
Well, no, I mean, the guy should, I'm not saying that, but.
Use your putter, Tiger.
6, so I would use a 7. No. I paid 50 G's. Yeah. You're using the 6.
That would be good. You know what? That sounds great. At some point, Tiger would say, no chance.
Yeah.
He's a little bit of a control freak.
That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah.
That's pretty, for 50 grand.
Good job. Good job all the way around. The Hero World Challenge will be coming up in December. Tiger's playing in a couple events in June to get ready for the U.S. Open, which will be at Shinnecock on Long Island. Meanwhile, Mike, I know this is bad news for you and your theories, but Aaron Judge, who participated in the Home Run Derby last year and put on a show and then struggled mightily with his swing afterwards, says he is out of this year's Home Run Derby in Washington for the All-Star game.
So many baseball players have said that's a crazy thing to think of, that's the Home Run Derby, that it affects your swing in the second half, but he really struggled. I don't think there's any doubt it has to do with his struggle. And I don't even know about physically, but mentally that's in his head. Yes. So it's like, why in the hell should I take a chance at this thing? So I'm not going to be in it, which is a shame as the defending champ. But you really hope, and he talked about it because Bryce Harper hasn't been, in this thing, and now he's, in the host city, the host team. He hopefully will be in the Home Run Derby.
Absolutely. So Aaron Judge is out. We'll see if Bryce Harper is in, and we'll see if he doesn't have that slump after the All-Star game in 2018 like he did in 2017. Okay, we continue here on Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN News, presented by Progressive Insurance. All phone guests join us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line, including our next guest who knows a thing or two about what it's like to watch LeBron James up close in action and also has perhaps some conflicted interests about Game 5 tonight. Yeah. Between the Celtics and the Cavaliers, and that is Larry Hughes, 14-year NBA veteran from St. Louis, Missouri, from Christian Brothers College High School, and then went on to play at St. Louis U before being a first-round draft pick by the Sixers in 1998. And he joins us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Larry, thanks for being with us this morning. How are you?
Thanks, guys. I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Long story short, Larry was still in high school when I was still working in St. Louis. So I've watched Larry for a few years, and let's just say your career's gone better than mine. So congratulations, Larry.
No, not even. I appreciate it, and I definitely remember you being in town.
Channel 5, where the news comes first. Separate issue entirely.
Yes,
okay,
sir.
So let's get down to brass tacks here. You played with LeBron, but you're the godfather of Jason Tatum. So where are your rooting interests tonight in Game 5?
You know what? He's younger. So I'm really happy that he's getting a chance to experience everything he's experiencing, and I'm rooting for Jason and the Celtics all the way.
All the way. All the way. He's in. So sometimes when you're family, now it's not blood family, but it's family. That so your family trumps familiarity and friends, right? Is that what we're saying?
It really does. You know what I saw is all of his sacrifices. I saw him, crawling and walking. So this is great for me to be a part and just to see him, reach his goals and start to obtain his dreams.
That's very cool. Jason Tatum, by the way, first team all-rookie team, almost got the unanimous vote, got 199 out of 200. Both Donovan Mitchell and Ben Simmons were unanimous. Tatum missed it by one for the first team all-rookie team. So as far as LeBron, you had a unique perspective here. Not only that you played with him, but you played against him. You, I believe, were playing for Washington when he came in the league in 2003. So you played against him for a bit before you were teammates. So start from playing against him first, then playing with him in what you saw out of LeBron at that early stage in his career.
Well, definitely playing against him. I think he was always my matchup, even though he was much bigger and stronger than I was. But he was a beast. I mean, that really, got my eyes open to the opportunity to, becoming a free agent and having a chance to play alongside of him, knowing how great he was heading to be. And then playing with him, you got a chance to notice just that. I mean, the things that he does that people don't see, as far as using his hand-eye coordination and what he's able to do, on the basketball court when people aren't watching is probably the most amazing thing that we don't understand. right? I mean, he's just become this great basketball player, great mind, and pulls everyone along with him. And I saw that, I saw him having signs of that when I played with him.
So can you take that down a little more and peel away a layer or two on that? Because that's what all we hear about LeBron is forgetting the physical attributes from the neck up, his knowledge of the game, his understanding of the game, and study of the game. Can you give us some examples of that, of how you see that, or how you saw it on the court?
I think just him, any great player, in their sport, he really pays attention to detail. He focuses in on things that are soon to be or to come, and that's plays on the offensive end, that's on the defensive end. And that allows him to recognize, and he's watched film, he's watched, tons of footage of situations and players. So he's able to understand once he sees a situation, he's able to recognize it and make that adjustment and make that play.
Larry Hughes with us, a 14-year NBA veteran, a member of the 2007 Eastern Conference champion Cavs that LeBron brought to his first ever NBA Finals, and, of course, is the godfather of Jason Tatum, the Rookie of the Year, or one of the Rookies of the Year for the Boston Celtics. Let's stick with LeBron here for a minute, Larry, because you were the second leading scorer on that team that got to the Finals that year. And we all know how sometimes LeBron's teammates are perceived. It's LeBron James and others go to the finals and go to do all this. There was that Saturday Night Live skit this year that was actually cut from the show, which was basically saying, hey, we'll do anything to help LeBron except basketball because we're not really good at that. And obviously it was very satirical and tongue-in-cheek. But the other Cavs, when they hear that perception, and I'm sure you guys heard that as well during the 2007 run to the finals, how do teammates of LeBron digest that and deal with that?
I think as a group, I think we keep it in perspective. I think the public, I don't think they really realize, the sacrifices that LeBron teammates make. He's a ball-dominant guy. There's a gift and a curse to that. He controls the basketball. But then again, you're able to be in situations where you're successful. You're able to play on television. You're able to get media coverage. You're able to get things that wouldn't necessarily come to you if you weren't playing in that situation. So for me, I understand it. But again, I just think that people don't realize the sacrifices that are made by individual players, to play with Bron and to be successful with Bron.
And that coming in, though, right? I mean, for those that come from another team to Cleveland or when he was in Miami, if you come to that team, you have to understand at that point that you're going to have your lane and your role, correct?
I think now that's obvious as he's gone on to win some championships. But no, I didn't really understand that going in. As you spend time, then you understand that that's going to be the best opportunity. That's the best situation for the entire group to be successful. But no, I don't think that you necessarily know that going in. It's something that you learn, and those that are able to do it are able to adjust and win some championships.
Larry Hughes with us, 14-year NBA veteran, pride of CBC and St. Louis University, with us as well. Listen, we have a lot. Mike and I have some fun with the deep dive on stats every once in a while. There's a bunch of stats out there called Second Spectrum that we think are a little silly, so whenever we hear them, we play this. Like, just take it for what it is. And there's this one stat out there that LeBron was asked about that said he was the slowest player in the playoffs. Entering Monday nights, he averaged speed of 3.64 through the first three showdowns against the Celtics, 3.73 miles per hour for the postseason as a whole. Does that mean anything to you?
You know what? It means absolutely nothing to me. I think even with the NBA game, we slow down to speed up. So, I mean, that makes a lot of sense, when he's making quick bursts and not necessarily moving all the time. So, no, it doesn't mean a lot to me.
Well, then you're on the right squad then, Larry.
I think
you're on the show permanently.
I think he's learned how to rest on the court when he could take advantage of it.
That's exactly right.
Now, as far as the youth in this league, and that would be your godson, Jason Tatum, and what he has done. Talk about that. Even though you've known him, as you said, since the kid's been crawling, what has even surprised you about how well he's played this year?
I think more than anything, his stamina. I think he hit a little bit of obviously the rookie wall with playing so many games, but for the most part, I mean, he showed up, every game, whether it was on the offensive end or the defensive end, he was able to contribute throughout the year. I mean, and that's for a young guy 1 year in, 1 year out of college, coming into the league. I think that's special.
Larry Hughes with us. We're talking a lot about, obviously, the Eastern Conference because your godson is playing for the Celtics, and you played with LeBron when you went to the 2007 NBA Finals. But let's flip it over to the West here for a second, Larry. I think a lot of us were shocked at how the game played out last night between the Rockets and the Warriors. Not that the Rockets won, but in the way that they won. I mean, Golden State goes out and does what they always do. They come up with that strong third quarter. They outscore them by 17, and then they only get 12 in the fourth quarter. So what surprised you the most about how the Rockets were able to even that series?
I think the shots that the Warriors were taking, I think that they got on that wave, that run, and felt like everything that they would throw up would go in. And I think they took, 2 or 3 bad shots that helped, Houston, gain that momentum, and continue on with that run. And I mean, it's the playoffs, so you get a little bit of run, a little bit of momentum. I mean, home or away, that's gonna carry you a nice way.
What does this do in your mind for a team like Golden State? We know Houston's confidence was built. Do you think this for Golden State deters them at all on maybe having some doubt, or no?
I don't think so. I think that they went into this playoffs. Even this season, knowing that it would be a battle, and the playoffs are no different. I think that they are prepared. I mean, they're a great team. I mean, with great individual guys that play on both ends of the court. So if I'm them, if I'm in that locker room, I know it's going to go 6 or 7 anyway. So I'm not necessarily nervous.
That was just weird the way the swings in that third and fourth quarter. It was all Golden State in the third, all Houston in the fourth, snapping that 16-game home playoff winning streak for the Warriors, longest in NBA playoff history. Okay, so we know that your heart is with Jason Tatum and the Celtics, but it's Game 5, Larry. LeBron has been here, done that, and this is, for lack of a better term, the biggest pucker game that the Celtics, the youngest team in the NBA, have faced so far in this postseason run, where they've been undefeated at home. We know your heart is with Jason Tatum and the Celtics. Where's your head right now in this game, if you had to honestly analyze who wins?
I think Boston's played really well at home. I think there's a few plays here and there. They played okay in Game 4 where they didn't give up. They kept fighting. I think in Game 5, they're at home. I think they'll pull it out. I know Bron will be a beast. It's going to be up to Boston to kind of keep those other guys down, Kyle and JR, making sure that they don't, get open for threes. But I still pick Boston for Game 5.
All right, you can book it. So there it is. Larry Hughes has booked it. It is the Celtics going to 10-0 in the postseason at home, and we'll see what plays out then in Game 6 and potentially Game 7. Larry, great to hear from you today. Always a pleasure to have on. Thanks for the perspective.
No, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Larry Hughes, 14-year NBA veteran, a member of the 2007 Eastern Conference champion Cavs that LeBron took to his first finals. It is interesting because he's been there, done that in what we've talked so much about with this Cavaliers team. He was the second leading scorer.
Yeah.
But they ended up getting swept, I think, by San Antonio.
No, they did.
In that series.
And I get back then him saying, this was still early in LeBron's career. You don't understand. No, you're going there as a role guy to play with LeBron. Now, obviously, it's a lot more evident that when you're coming to that team, what the role is going to be. But man, his godson again, Jason Tatum. So the all-rookie team was named.
Yep.
Donovan Mitchell was on it. Ben Simmons, both of them unanimous selections. Jason Tatum missed that by 1 vote.
Who didn't vote for Jason Tatum?
I do not know. The other 2 on that team were from the Bulls. It was Lauri Markkanen, and then there was a first-teamer, a rookie from the Lakers.
Just not the one everyone thought.
Not the one everyone thought would be in Lonzo Ball. He made the second team, but it was Kyle Kuzma.
Yeah.
Kyle Kuzma. So congrats to, again, Markkanen, Kuzma, Tatum, Mitchell, and Ben Simmons for first team all-rookie team.
And I think Jason Tatum is a finalist for Rookie of the Year. He
is. He's a finalist along with Ben Simmons and Donovan Mitchell.
But it's probably going to go to Ben Simmons.
If it went to if it included the playoffs, Mitchell would Tatum would be winning this thing.
Yeah,
but it's a regular season award, so he won't be.
It is it's a regular season award. So again, I just can't. I keep going back to that game last night. I don't know if I've ever seen 2 quarters be so dramatically different, especially from the way the Warriors have won everything this postseason. We'll skate by in the first half. We'll get our minds right. We'll come out there and we'll dominate at home in the third quarter. and then they'll give it up in the fourth. That's the thing that
absolutely amazed.
Totally freaked me out.
Up by 10 going in the fourth, up by 12 with 10 minutes and some to go, and then end up losing this one by 3, only scoring 12 points in the fourth quarter. Really, really a feather in the cap and the tip of the cap to the Rockets for how they played.
They did a great job. Yep. Mike D'Antoni continues to find the right, perfect buttons to push for his team and the right things to say. Don't forget, ESPN Deportes will be the Spanish League home of the UEFA Champions League final this Saturday, May 26th at 2:20 p.m. Eastern, 11:20 Pacific. Will Real Madrid make history and win for the third consecutive year, or is there going to be a new champion in Liverpool? The Champions League final, May 26th, live and in Spanish on ESPN Deportes and the ESPN app. All right, coming up, we still have Vegas Golden Knights head coach Gerard Gallant on the way, but up next, we'll tell you how you can come play with us on one of the most prestigious golf courses in America, and they are probably regretting this decision already. We'll get to that, Mike, after this.
Hey everyone, Mike Golic here. Support for the Golic Wingo podcast comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Chances are you're confident when it comes to your work, your hobbies, your life. Rocket Mortgage gives you that same level of confidence when it comes to buying a home or refinancing your existing home loan. Rocket Mortgage is simple, allowing you to fully understand all the details and be confident you're getting the right mortgage for you. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/Mikes. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, NMLS, consumeraccess.org number 3030.
Everyone in the neighborhood knew about Bobby. Bobby, the basketball boy, they called him. Bobby wanted to go pro someday, so he was always out in the driveway shooting hoops. But one day, his mom came out and told him, "Hey, your wife wants you to take out the trash." His mom was visiting, and Bobby was a grown man. He had kind of missed his window. Plus, no one had ever seen him actually make a basket. But on the other hand, Bobby had heard how Geico could save him money on car insurance, so he switched and saved. So it was all good.
You know, I think that might be the theme of the show. Golic and Wingo, we got to do better.
You're not kidding.
Glad you're with us on ESPN Radio and ESPN News. We'll get to our contest and how you can join us at Pinehurst in just a little bit. But again, the Houston Rockets shocked the world last night. They trailed by 12 in the fourth quarter and then went on a 21-4 run to take a 91-86 lead with 3:30 to go. And then one of the most amazing things happened, Mike. Kevin Durant, who has been the Warriors' best player all year long, and clearly their best player in the postseason, decided, I'm good. Did not take a single shot attempt down the stretch.
I was really amazed at that. It had the chance, or they had that ball with 12 seconds to go, and he passed the ball to Klay Thompson. It was, I don't, and he said he wishes he had that play back. He explained how the play developed, but wishes he had it back to think about a different ending to that. So I was a little surprised at that, and you certainly can credit some of that to the defense of Houston. But this is a 7-footer who can shoot from anywhere right on the court, and is the second best player in the league. So you can't tell me that if he doesn't want a shot, he's going to take a shot.
Exactly.
So I was a little shocked at that one.
Well, it was weird because what happened at the beginning of that game? We saw James Harden. I can't remember. Was it Steph Curry that fell in front of him?
That wasn't the play, but it was another play where he was standing there alone at the 3-point line, nobody around him for like a day and a half, and he didn't take the shot.
And he didn't take the shot, and we thought, what the heck is going on there? Then he rebounded very nicely.
Yeah, he did.
30 points, led the Rockets in scoring in that game. But that was as shocking as seeing Kevin Durant not take the shot.
Yeah, it was.
Down the stretch. So what do we make out of this? Because there is the feeling out there by some that, hey, once you punch a bully in the mouth, suddenly they're not human anymore. Buster Douglas versus Mike Tyson. Drago
versus Rocky.
Oh,
yeah.
Or Predator.
It's not a machine.
We can kill it.
There you go.
Or is it just, all right, we sort of messed up there and we'll figure it out? Our Michael Wilbon of PTI thinks it's more about the latter and not the former.
I mean, they remind me of the genius student that just sort of goofs around, when things are going well. I've done well this semester. Let me just skip a couple of days of class. That's what the Warriors are. Steve Kerr, after a 12-0 lead, he must feel the same way. He called timeout when it was 12-2. I mean, Steph Curry comes over, throws the ball to Draymond Green. Draymond wasn't looking, and Steph just throws it to him casually. And Harden goes down. I think it was Harden, gets a layup, 12-2. And Steve Kerr called timeout. And he said afterward that he was disappointed because he knew the lead should have been stretched, and it wasn't. Same thing later in the second half, 12-point lead. And I always say it seems like they hear the sweet Georgia Brown music in their ears, and they just lose focus. They're just not there for a while. And this team will make them pay.
I love that soundbite.
Yeah.
And it could have been. I agree with that. It could have been 20-0.
Easy.
The shots that they were missing could have been 20-0. And you could, it sounds so weird that they're up 12-0. Houston gets a layup and Kerr calls timeout, and he's kind of mad and frustrated.
But he saw it, right?
Yeah, without question. So listen, I agree with Wilbon. I think Golden State's the better team, but boy, what this does for Houston, again, they've beaten Golden State before.
Right.
They certainly have done that in regular season and obviously in the postseason as well. So I think their confidence level is there, but to get it done at Golden State in the playoffs where it hadn't been done, especially when Curry and Durant are together, makes it that much more impressive.
Nobody had done it.
Yeah.
Okay, again, the Rockets with Durant and Curry on the team, 17-2 against all other opposition, 2-2 now against the Houston Rockets. And again, look, this is where the mental game comes into it, because the Rockets also took the regular season series from Golden State.
2-1.
And people are like, that was the regular season. Golden State knows what's what. They'll flip the switch. But don't give that team confidence.
Yeah.
They already think they can beat you. And then they do what no one had done with this lineup, this incarnation of this lineup. Belief can be a powerful thing. Look, it could mean nothing if Golden State goes out there and stomps them in Houston in Game 5. But watch out now. This is the last team I think you want to give a little breath of life against Golden State.
One thing it does is great for the fans. It gives us a 2-2 series.
Yes.
Whereas a 3-1,
I'm all in on that.
We're almost not even paying attention anymore because we know Houston's not beating them 3 straight.
Yeah.
But it's 2-2. And now, going back to Houston. Yeah. So all of a sudden it's like, boy, is that piquing your interest, just like tonight with Cleveland playing in Boston with the series tied 2-2. So I'm glad we're getting this, in hockey when we get some of the great series that are going into the 7th game like we have tonight. I mean, you want some of that, and we weren't getting that in the Eastern Conference Finals or Western Conference Finals.
So, listen, we're down to the last 3 games in each conference finals. And, oh, by the way, we're down to the last 3 days for you to join us here.
Golic and Wingo Leadership Retreat.
Again, let us just say, greatest scam perpetrated in the history of corporate America.
Golic and Wingo off-site, all-hands, town hall leadership retreat strategy session golf tournament. Means you get to go have fun with us for 3 days. June 21st, 22nd, 23rd. I'm explaining how you can win, but this is what you're going to get. 3-day, 2-night trip, Pinehurst Resort in North Carolina. Round-trip air. We're staying at the Pinehurst Resort. Food, swag, all kind of swag.
Everything
you're
you
treated
need.
like kings and queens on this trip. You're going to get to golf Pinehurst 2. One of the great golf courses in the country. You're going to get to golf the Cradle, a fun 9-hole short course as well. There's going to be beer carts, I hope.
Oh, yeah. And there are comfort stations all along the way.
Really? Is that what you call them?
Well, there's comfort stations, and then there's
when you say comfort station, I think of a bathroom.
Yes, but some of the really great courses combine a great bathroom with a great buffet.
Okay.
And we have Pinehurst number 2.
Wow.
So all your comforts are
thank you, Pinehurst. I don't know if you realize what you've gotten yourself into,
idea.
But we are really looking forward to it. And here you go, gang.
Yeah.
This is how you can win.
Let's do it.
4 winners, okay? All you have to do.
Did you say winners?
Winners.
I want winners. I want people that want to win.
All you have to do is tweet. At Golic and Wingo. Follow us at Golic and Wingo. Tweet to at Golic and Wingo with the hashtag golf with GW contest. That's got to be the hashtag.
Yep.
You get 1 tweet, 1 entry. And whatever you want, video, picture, just a tweet, whatever you think will grab our attention so you're one of the 4 winners. Here's the deal. 4 winners. Each winner brings 2 people.
Oh, that's going to be difficult.
So that's up to you who you bring. We don't get involved in that. You decide what 2 people you bring. So we have 4 groups of 3. And then with each of those groups, Trey will golf with 1, I will golf with 1, my son will golf with 1, and at this point, Stugotz will golf with 1, though Jason Fitz is trying to work his way in there.
To this point.
Yeah, to this point.
NCAA parlance, right now he's last in.
There you
Could
go.
be first out.
So that's where we are right now.
Whoa. While you and your teams are out there having a blast on the course, don't forget to build that team with a little 2 truths and a lie. Why don't we get that cooking, huh?
Not going to lie, never heard of 2 truths and a lie.
Here are the 2 truths and a lie. The 2 truths are you guys will be out there playing poorly, and the lie is my scorecard.
The lie, without question. I've never played a round of golf without a pencil with an eraser.
We're just going to make that a 5.
Yeah. Foot wedge, the whole deal.
Hand wedge is my best club at
On the
Pinehurst.
Cradle, the shortest hole is 56 yards. I am throwing the ball.
I'd like to see how accurate you could be throwing it. Because that golf ball is difficult, man.
It's hard
I got
the pin in the shoulder.
It's hard to really steer the way you think you could steer.
Bounce in some first pitches, so I don't know how that'll work.
Pinehurst, you have no idea what you're getting yourself into.
No, you really don't.
And we appreciate it. We appreciate it.
Yeah, till Friday game. Yeah. Tweet at Golic and Wingo. Hashtag Golic. Hashtag is Golf with GW contest.
Yeah.
One tweet, one entry, 4 winners. Have at it.
Yeah, be like Alexander Hamilton. Do not throw away your shot.
Delta strives to take the stress out of travel so you can focus on what comes next. And Delta Comfort Plus can help. With Sky Priority boarding, extra legroom, and a wide selection of unlimited complimentary snacks, you can arrive refreshed, ready to take on the world.
All right, so the Las Vegas Golden Knights, I think everybody thought when the season started they wouldn't be playing right about now.
Right, yeah.
And they're not, because they're waiting to find out who they will play in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Amazing.
They have taken the West, and they await the winner of Game 7 between the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Washington Capitals. It's been the greatest sports story of the year, and really one of the greatest sports stories of all time if they would go off and win the whole damn thing. And we are delighted to be joined by Gerard Gallant, the head coach of the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Coach, thanks for being with us. We had Derek England sound earlier, and he was honest about, when we got together at the start of the year, we probably didn't think this was possible, but as the year went on, we realized, hey, we're a pretty good team. What were your expectations when the season started, and how did they shift as the season played out?
Well, exactly what Derek probably said. My expectations were, and with management, we sat down and we said, let's make sure we're competitive. Let's make sure we put on a good show for our fans every night, and work as hard as we can, and we'll see if the wins happen. And all of a sudden, we're 8-1 in the first 9 games, and everybody's feeling pretty good about themselves. And I never looked at it as an expansion team, to be honest with you, because we got a lot of, and you get Marc-Andre Fleury, James Neal, those type of players. We had a lot of top-end players through the expansion draft, so it didn't feel like an expansion draft. But in saying that, nobody thought we were going to be a first-place team in the Western Conference, and I was, and I'm one of those people, and but it just kept getting better, and the more we played together, the better the team got, and we had good character and a lot of good people, and they just kept working one game at a time, and we, at the end of the season, we ended it, and we had 109 points, and we won the Pacific Division. So it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work, but we enjoyed doing it. It was good. It was a good team effort.
So, and it certainly was, and is, and continues. So, at what point during the season did it change? And I'm with you. You never felt like an expansion team. It's not a bunch of rookies out there. These are veteran players on your team. But then, at what point during the season did you and or players start thinking, you know what, we can go a little further than people, even us, maybe expected this year?
Yeah, I think there was a road trip. We went to Nashville and Dallas back to back, and 2 real good hockey teams. 2 teams that when you go into their building, you're going to have a tough time. And we went into both of those buildings on back-to-back nights, and we beat both of those teams, and we beat them convincingly. Like, we didn't get lucky. We outplayed both of those teams, and I think at the end of that road trip, our guys looked at each other and said, you know what, we have a special hockey team here, and we can go on the road like this and play against top teams like that and come out of here and win 2 big games. So for me, that was a turning point for me in the season, and like I said, at that time we had a good record, but when you beat those teams on the road, it meant a lot to our group.
Gerard Gallant with us, the head coach of the Las Vegas Golden Knights, as they await to see who they'll play in the Stanley Cup Finals between the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Washington Caps that are in Game 7. So much of this, you talked about it, these are players that came to this expansion team from other teams. In other words, they were told by those teams, we love you, but we're moving on. Motivation comes in many, many forms, and we're talking about the mental edge that's now being played out maybe between the Houston Rockets and the Golden State Warriors in the NBA Finals, with Houston finally beating that team in Golden State and having an edge. How much of the idea that, hey, we were a bunch of cast-offs, how much did that help this team sort of come together and have that, for lack of a better term, chip on your shoulder that was there all season to motivate you?
Yeah, I didn't think it was a big deal early in the season, but probably 6 weeks or 8 weeks into the season, every time a guy played against his old team, he was the first, second, or third star in that game. So the media made a big deal out of it. I didn't make a big deal out of it, but it definitely had a huge effect on our players for sure. And I kept saying, you know what, everybody that we picked up in the expansion draft is really happy to be here and ready to go, and that's what I kept saying to the media. But after a while, it just got to the point where every one of these players just played an outstanding game against their old team, and I had to finally say, well, it must have something to do with it because these guys are playing great hockey. And So they got a chip on their shoulders. Nobody likes to leave your old team. I mean, it's when you go on a professional hockey league team, you want to be with that team your whole career. That's what your goal is. And then all of a sudden things change in sports, as we know today. And when you go to a different place, it takes a little while. But I know one thing: after 2 months of the season, every player was very happy to be in Vegas, and they're real happy to be here now. So we got a great group of guys.
So, Gerard, you didn't have a little extra edge when you faced the Florida Panthers, your old team at times? Just a little, hey, what's going on here now?
Well, you want to beat them, definitely. I mean, I think we went 1-1 with them this season. We won the first game in Vegas, and then we lost a close game in Florida. So, yeah, you definitely want to win against your old team. But I just wanted to move on. When that second game was over in South Florida, I wanted to move on after that, and that was a good thing. We had some good people there, and my old general manager, Dale Talon, were good friends. So it was good to get that game over with.
Gerard Gallant, the Vegas Golden Knights head coach, joining us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. And coaches have different relationship with different players. What were your words individually to a guy like Marc-Andre Fleury, who, again, in an expansion draft, you get a team put together, and, oh, by the way, now your goalie has 3 Stanley Cup titles. So he's been there, done that. You have that to rely on. What were your words to him before the season started?
Well, we were so excited to get him in the expansion draft. I mean, like you just said, 3 Stanley Cups, a character guy. This guy was our leader, and from day one, he's been outstanding for a group of players. I mean, he comes in there every day, and he's smiling, no pressure situation. He goes to the rink and enjoys everything he does at the rink, and then he goes in the net, and he's one of the best goalies, if not the best goalie in the NHL. He just plays the game hard. He has fun playing the game, and it sets a relaxed atmosphere. And I guess when you win 3 Stanley Cups and you play in those great teams at Pittsburgh, you know how to carry yourself, and he's done an outstanding job for our group.
Oh, he certainly has. He has been, you always want a hot goaltender in the playoffs, and he's been great. I think part of his success this year, Gerard, as we're talking to Gerard Gallant, the head coach of the Vegas Knights, is clearly that he finally got to meet Marc-Andre Fleury, which is the 10-year-old Jack Russell Terrier who's become somewhat a mascot for the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Can you try and put this into perspective, what it would mean? And I know you hate looking ahead, but the idea that an expansion team in this day and age could maybe win a championship in their first year of existence. Can you try and put that into some sort of perspective for people that don't understand how crazy that might be?
Yeah, I mean, there was no thought of that, obviously. I mean, like somebody said today, a couple of days ago, that the odds were 500-1 before the season started of us winning a Stanley Cup. So, I mean, you look at that and you say, and again, really, I mean, we've really taken it one game at a time. From the first game of the regular season, we never looked too far down the road. Even when the team was having a great record at the end of the season, we never looked too far ahead or too far behind. We just said, let's worry about the next game, and that's all we've done in the playoffs. We took it one game at a time. We're trying to win a 4-game series, and you just move on. So no, it'll be unbelievable. I mean, I've been in the NHL for quite a while as a player and assistant coach and a head coach, and this is the farthest I've ever gone. So it's exciting, but again, it's a tough championship to win, and if we can do it in the first year, it'd be unbelievable. It'll be an unbelievable thing. And you know what? We've got as good a chance as anybody. The NHL is so close now. Every team is so close, and whoever we're going to play in the next series is going to be a real tough battle. But we feel we have a good chance to win as well as they do.
Well, it is the toughest thing to do in all of sports. There's no doubt in my mind. You cover a team that goes to the Stanley Cup playoffs, it looks like you're in a triage unit. Every day after the game.
Fun to watch, too, you guys. It really is.
It has been fantastic. Coach, we appreciate you being with us. It's been a remarkable season, unbelievable, and best of luck against whomever you will play in the finals, whether it's the Caps or the Lightning. Thanks so much, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
That was great.
Player came into the league, I think, drafted in the 6th round by Detroit back in '84, a year before I got on the league, so we're right around the same age, and player and now coach. I mean, and this, what a ride to start that year. Basically said him and management saying, okay, we got a while here. We're going to build.
Let's be competitive.
8-1 out of the gate or whatever it was that was. And all of a sudden you're like, hey, he talked about a couple of road trips where they did well and started thinking, okay, this is where maybe we're better than right out of the gate than people we may even think.
You know what's a good definition of competitive? Winning the Stanley Cup.
It's
unbelievable.
The Las Vegas Golden Knights are sitting around waiting to see who they're playing for the Lord Stanley Cup.
Resting up and reacting.
Seriously, how great is that?
It's absolutely fantastic, and it's one of the great sports stories of all time. All right, Game 5 tonight. Celts, Cavs. Who do you like?
Well, I said 6, so I said in the beginning, so I'll stick with that and say Cleveland wins it tonight, and then they win it back home. That's right. You book it, Cliff. You book it.
Listen, I think I'm with you. I think this is the game where where the Boston Celtics have to start thinking about things they've never thought about before. As a very, very young team, LeBron's been there, done that, so I'll go with the Cavs as well. Book it. We'll have reaction to Game 5, and stay Wingo, everybody. Brian Scalabrine and the tall one, Ryan Hollins, will join us on Thursday.
I don't know how else to say this, so I'll just say it.
What is it, Linda?
I think we should see other people.
Are you breaking up with me? On a roller coaster?
Well, we do have a lot of fun. Maybe we should stay together.
An emotional roller coaster? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
I just need a little me time.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.